Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Welcome, everybody, to another amazing Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. And I bet you're wondering about publicity, man. Who can do this publicity? It probably costs an enormous amount of money to get this big PR campaign going. And you're already like, yeah, you're right. Forget this episode. No, I'm telling you guys, I have met someone I've never met before that just helps me to breathe easier than ever before around PR. And she is getting incredible results for our clients. And it's literally like that dream come true. I swear it. I swear this is true. This is not a bunch of BS. There's a lot that's in here. And for you to be able to take advantage of, even if you didn't want to hire somebody ever, you're going to get tips and tricks, so to speak, or good things that allow you to do conscious PR. As well, maybe not so many tricks, but you know what I mean. And to help you to, get the results so you can easily skyrocket your business, because that's what happens when people start doing the things that Lydia suggests. So we're going to get right into it in one moment. Want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today. Hi, Lydia. So glad to have you here today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here and talk about all things PR.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So wait till you hear about her background. Lydia Bagarozza is a sought-after publicist and PR strategist who supports purpose-driven brands in the coaching, mentorship, health and wellness, and eco-conscious spaces. Throughout her career, she has spearheaded countless PR campaigns for some of the world's top talent in the music industry, as well as brands in beauty, fashion, lifestyle categories. After a self-development journey in her mid-20s, she started her own PR business dedicated to securing features for the conscious-minded brands that she connected with the most. Today, she drives exposure for these brands and also offers online programs which teach entrepreneurs how to be their own publicists. Her clients are frequently seen across media giants like Forbes, Oprah, Well+Good, mindbodygreen, Byrdie, ELLE, and New York Magazine. So again, just so grateful you're here. Can't wait to hear everything you're going to have to share today, Lydia. Yeah, it's interesting you said with the video, it's like the room got turned around where you are. We're looking at all these cool boards in the back, and I feel it's perfect for our podcast today because we're getting ready to surf up in the best way possible, and we're going to have an amazing time. So I'm so grateful.
Thank you. For those that are just listening, basically, me and my boyfriend moved to Florida recently, and we split the office. So my side is on the side that you can't see, and the other side has mostly his stuff. I do have one surfboard, the big one up top, but
you got a big one.
he's got his like surfboard, spearfishing gun. He's got his, cooler. So the whole thing, we've got all the things for the beach.
My gosh, that's so cool. So I probably want to start a little bit, with your background, because you said, well, by my mid-20s, like it took me a long time, but by my mid-20s, I started this thing. So it's, I'm like, wow, you already had done a lot, by your mid-20s is what it sounds like. And you're just a ball of fire. So tell us a little bit about what led you to do this work, like this conscious PR for, people, quite frankly, like me and our listeners, et cetera.
Yeah. So you said ball of fire. I have a lot of fire in my astrological chart. So I'm sure you can tell, but basically throughout I think it was high school when I first decided I wanted to work in the music industry. So that's kind of where it all started. So my journey took a lot of turns, pivots, and all of that stuff. But I basically decided I wanted to work in the music industry. So I started thinking about positions, and I was like, all right, I'm going to be on the business side. So throughout college, I interned for RCA Records, one of the biggest record labels in the world. I was the local music director at my college radio station, and just did all the things related to music. I really wanted to be in that field. And so basically, when I eventually got myself there, I took an internship at a PR firm in music. And I was like, all right, like I'm going to get hired in like 2 months. And I had this whole plan. I actually already was working as a marketing manager for a real estate investment firm. So I was doing that first right after school, just, to pay the bills. And because that was the first thing I could find. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to the music industry eventually. So after a few years, I decided to quit my job. And even though I was making a great salary and just try the whole music thing, I was living in New Jersey at the time, and everything was in the city, in New York City. So I found this one company that worked with record labels, but wasn't actually in New York City. And I was like, I can handle that. Like I wouldn't have to do the whole commuting in. And it's really, really expensive for anybody who's in that area. They know it's like rent just to commute in. It almost makes more sense to pay to live there. So anyway, the last day of that real estate investment job that I was working at, the very last day, I got into a car accident. A woman behind me totaled my car. And this all makes sense, I promise. So basically, my car was fully totaled, and I was like, shit, what am I going to do now? Didn't realize that was the universe really communicating with me that this is not the direction that I should be going in. But my ego wanted me to go the music route. So basically after that, it was like a series of unfortunate events with cars for me. Every time I drove into this job, I got a flat tire. I got into a car accident. Somebody vandalized my car, and it was just out of control. I was working myself into the ground. I picked up an internship, this one that was unpaid, with a plan to get hired. So I did get hired, but and this was also another way of communicating with the universe, I didn't realize that I was really just like lowering my own personal self-worth by taking this position, because to them I was free. So they took me on pretty low. So what's interesting about this whole thing is basically I hit like a rock bottom. I was in the city until 4 a.m. and I was representing some huge artists. I was working on campaigns with the Beach Boys and X Ambassadors, and we did Etta James releases, like legacy releases, Frank Sinatra. So like some really, really cool things. However, it just was not for me, which was a really hard pill to swallow. And I was also managing an artist at the time that is now signed to Columbia Records, which is really cool. And I'm so happy for her, but it just wasn't for me. And so during this, I was like, okay, well, my whole identity is shattered. What the hell am I supposed to be doing now? So during this time, I found inner child work and spirituality, and this kind of sparked my whole spiritual journey. So I ended up transitioning into beauty, fashion, and lifestyle PR because I was already in PR. So I was like, all right, I'll just like switch to another area. And during that time, I was obsessed with any like wellness client, spiritual client. We had one client that created like a skincare line with Reiki infused in it. And I was like, wow, like, how do you do that? Or like, who is this person, and how can this help heal my skin, or what is Reiki? And I was just so intrigued by all of it. So basically, I just went deeper and deeper down into this rabbit hole. And then when the pandemic hit, I had decided to quit my job again. This is a theme. Go into business for myself. So now I'm supporting conscious brands that are really in those spiritual spaces that haven't really had what I think a really loud voice in the media. When I was going through my own personal spiritual journey back in 2017 was really when I like hit rock bottom and the whole thing shit at the fan. I couldn't find anybody online. I really needed to like dig deep, and I found podcasts. So that kind of helped a lot, and which is great because we're here. So it's full circle. But that's what I do now. So what's really fulfilling about my career is now I can help these amazing entrepreneurs that are making a difference in the world get on these huge publications that otherwise wouldn't have really known about them.
Right. Yeah, it seems to be that's an amazing story, by the way. I just was reading a book. It's so funny, like like how again the synchronicity of the universe, so to speak, right? I was reading about a story very hot on like issues with masculinity the guys have had and stereotypes and stuff. And I'm reading a book about that, and there was a story about a professional football player, and he wasn't able to take his flight. He's always on time for practice. He tried to take a flight to get into the practice on time and didn't work out. He was stranded in a city, and he's like, okay, I'll drive it. That's it. I'm making it no matter what. I've always made it on time. He's a really high level player, and he's like, okay, I'm making it. And there he's in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden he's going 70 miles an hour down a highway, and everything looks good. The weather looks good, everything. And all of a sudden there's like this flooding that was on the road still though, and he hydroplaned it off. But anyway, he got in a big accident. Car was obliterated. It didn't sound like he really got hurt bad at all. But the bottom line is like it was a wake up call, and not that long after that, he saw it as a sign immediately, like, oh, actually, what I'm doing now doesn't matter. Like it will come up like that. So I think it's like what I'm not saying it's wrong, like when those things happen, like, oh, you should have figured it out earlier, but I feel like the signs are there often for us earlier. So I'm just like giving to all our listeners, like, because it's a practice for me constantly too, like now, like what am I not to pay attention to now?
Yeah.
Because I know otherwise something is going to come and smack me upside the head.
You're like, oh, now I
gotta listen more carefully, right? Oh, I just wanted to even talk about that aspect. It's like we have to listen, like, okay, like for example, with PR, I say I want to reach all these people, but what am I doing to make it happen or let it happen? Am I doing the marketing, the publicity and whatnot? Then yeah, you look at your bank account, you're like, yeah, maybe what's missing? I wonder, like, like it's not happening somehow, right? And then a lot of people just give up because they're just, well, I guess I'll just settle for what I got, or I'll go out of business, or whatever. So I guess I'm not that big of a deal after all, or people come to conclusions. I would think anyway, like the people that come to you are all different levels. People are excited, I'm ready to grow, but other people are like, man, I just can't, I'm just so stuck and I don't know. And so what are some of the common, I'm curious, what are some of the common places people are when they come to you?
Yeah, I get quite a few common themes. I see this for entrepreneurs that have been in business for a long time, and I also see this for newer entrepreneurs. There's an area of people that are like, ready for the visibility. They want to be seen. They want to share their voice. And then when I have a conversation with them, they have like almost an existential crisis. They're like, oh my goodness, is this what I really want to share? Who am I? What's my message? Is my marketing nice enough? Are my pictures nice enough? So there's a lot of limiting beliefs when it comes to visibility, and a lot of imposter syndrome that comes up and all those things. And if you're listening and you're like, ooh, that's me, it's totally normal to do that. It takes a lot of confidence to be seen. But what I tell my clients is, whatever you are doing, if you have happy customers and you're making a difference, your voice, your perspective, your expertise are an answer to somebody's prayers. So it's so important to be able to share that, especially if you know that you are mission driven and you're supposed to be making a difference in the world, which is pretty much all of my clients. But if you are in a space where you are thinking about PR, but you're not necessarily ready yet, or maybe you're newer in your entrepreneurial journey, what I recommend to do is the absolute best thing that will get you press, and it'll also help you with client attraction and all those things. Because I know you mentioned like, oh, well, maybe I should just close up shop. And it's what's interesting about PR is PR has a lot to do with brand positioning and branding. And that's what I do with all of my clients every single day when I'm reaching out to the media, is I'm basically quote unquote selling them on my clients' story angles, on who they are as an expert. And so coming back to yourself and thinking to yourself, like, okay, what is my message that I'm sharing? What is my uniqueness? what are my differentiators? What is the transformation in the process that I take my clients through? Those are the things that you really want to highlight. If you're bringing this stuff to a publicist, or if you decide to do a little bit of your own PR and reach out yourself, which you can do, by the way, especially for like podcasts. I always tell spiritual entrepreneurs, if they're just starting out and they want to just dip their toes in the water, it's great to just reach out to friends that have podcasts. Everybody has one now, and try to reach out in a professional way and tell them, like, this is what I have to offer. Here are my topics, my points that I can speak on. Would this be a fit for your show? So that's kind of the areas that I see people in. It's when they're first starting out, a lot of the times they'll need a little bit of brand positioning. And then there's some clients that have been in the industry for a long time. They're very seasoned in like who they are and how they're showing up. And for me, it's just a means of getting them out there. So basically just reaching out and letting them know, hey, this person's here, they're incredible, and you want them to be an expert on your publication or a voice on your show.
That's awesome. So I want to cover both of those situations because they're a little bit different maybe. So first I wanted to just back up, and when you're going through all that, I could imagine somebody thinking, because in this day and age, like the people listening, again, they're usually light leader type people, coaches, experts, healers, people like that. And, they may feel like, oh, I'm good, or I'm really good, and I'm unique. But then there's another side of them that's like, I don't know about that. Like I see people and all their testimonials, these other coaches, they look just like me. They're getting better results than what I get from my clients. And, maybe I'm not that great. And what unique, what? And okay, I could say I channel this entity or that entity, but everybody's channeling unique entities lately. And how am I any different? And, like even in my own journey, like people receive like my tuning in, and some people will be like, oh, this is so beyond and so incredible. And then someone else will be like, yeah, it was a good reading. Yeah. Okay. That happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens every once in a while. And I'm like, well, maybe it is, part of my brain, right? Like it was, well, maybe I'm just like everybody else. And, like that I can imagine it's got to happen. How am I so special to be out on these major broadcasts and everything, and I'm going to be positioned and everything? And then people think like I literally have to be completely special to be able to have that spotlight. And so I'm wondering how you deal with that for some of your clients that wonder about things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I want to touch on is, if you have clients that have been happy with your services and you have testimonials, go read them. Also go read them. Just kidding. Listen to the rest of the show. But if anybody is feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome, just know that everyone is having their own experiences, especially service-based. So if you are making a huge difference with somebody, and then somebody else might not resonate the same way, it's more of like a personal thing than it is your abilities. So when it comes to visibility and exposure, being your biggest cheerleader, I think, is really important. And everybody has a different way of how they interpret information, how they share information. You are not better or worse than somebody else. You're just different. So, and there's so much press to go around. I mean, let's just talk about the industry in general. Media is changing so much, where it's all about just like content. And so it can be overwhelming, but on the other end, it's also really awesome for entrepreneurs, because there's so much opportunity now to get yourself out there. There's not just the big 3 media giants. There's like Hearst, Meredith, and Condé Nast. And those are kind of like the 3 giants for publications, and they own basically all the magazines that we know. So those are like the media houses, publication houses. But things are changing. There's podcasts. We're on one right now. That's a media outlet. We Are the News. There's YouTube. There's so many different ways. So if you're ever thinking about the imposter syndrome, just think about the amount of content, the amount of people. It's so much bigger than that, and you should not be concerned whatsoever. when it comes down to that. So that's kind of what I have to say there.
Yeah, it's just to get over it. I mean, I think the main thing that separates the people that are in the big neon lights versus the people that aren't,
Mm.
mostly they just decided to be,
Yep.
mostly. I
Made
think
a
it's the number one
decision.
thing, right?
Just
Yeah,
made a decision and
yeah,
did that.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's really interesting about my work and what's healing about it is, and this is like vulnerable to share, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm a person who always wanted to be behind the scenes. Even when I went into the music industry and decided I wanted to do that, I wanted to be on the business side, behind all the stars. Same thing with what I'm doing now. And what I'm noticing on a soul level is I'm actually healing my fear of visibility too. So, and this is something I've never really shared too much about, so exclusive information. But yeah, I had a really big fear of being on podcasts, of being in editorial, and especially in entrepreneurship. I feel like in general, it's such a self-development journey, because whatever you're feeling, any insecurities you have, anything, it's going to come up in your work no matter what. So that was one of mine. And when I was teaching all of this, I was teaching a lot of entrepreneurs how to, I have a program, Be Your Own Publicist, that I teach clients how to be their own publicist. And then I realized that there was something else that needed to be done before that. So I actually have a new program coming out next month that I'm so excited about, called Find Your Irresistible. And it was really healing for me to come up with this, because I realized that a lot of us don't know what that quote unquote irresistible is, which is really just you. And so it's a lot about finding that language and that confidence, and coming back to ourselves and our brand. And that was something that I needed to personally do. And now I feel so much more comfortable being in front and founder facing. It was really scary for me at first. So if you're listening, like I hear you and I get that. And we all kind of go through those things. And it's really just a choice of, have you decided or known that you are supposed to really share your work on a bigger scale?
Yeah. I mean, some people do have very specialized, unique aspects that are really clear. Like, oh, this is unique, like it's easy to see. But most of us don't. Most of us don't feel that unique, because it is maybe kind of similar to some stuff out there, but we're unique, of course, like you said. So when you're talking about, like, you got this course and everything, and then you said, I kind of figure it out for myself too. And right. I always say, like, we're always teaching the things we're trying to learn, right? So the best way to be the best student is to be the best teacher of that thing at the same time, right? So it all goes together. And
of course.
And so I was wondering, like, if someone's like, geez, I wonder what my irresistible is, and what are some ways to start decoding that for yourself? I would say, like, my first impulse is like you said, look at your testimonials. Like, people have been telling you why you're irresistible. But so flesh that out for us, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are always parallels to what we're really good at. For example, for me, I work with a lot of spiritual clients, so most of them are psychic. And they always told me the same thing over and over again. And just be like, okay, whatever, like, that's great. Thank you very much. Until one day it clicked and I got it. And I was like, oh, this is my irresistible. This is my specialty. So usually what we're getting reflected back to us constantly is something that is our irresistible. And what's interesting too, that I've noticed recently, the thing that we are most self-conscious about that makes us different, or makes us like nervous, like, oh, I'm weird, I do this, or like, I don't know, like, blah, blah, this makes me different. That's usually your irresistible. So the thing that we're resisting the most,
the thing you're maybe judging the most about yourself, right?
Judging the most about yourself is usually your special sauce. Yeah.
That's so funny, because I think that's true. Yeah, definitely for me, because I'll be like, I don't know, I'm like this really, I can be this really kind of more Zen kind of guy and whatever, and like, oh, happy-go-lucky, let's flow. But then I'm like, another day I might be like, man, I'm the fire guy, I'll destroy everything in my path that's BS, and I'm the truth guy, and then I'm this guy, and then I'm that guy, and then over the years I just had to finally realize, Daniel, you're all of that. You know, that's a panoramic view. And like someone the other day said, again, this isn't unique to just me, but he said,
Yeah, I
you
love
know,
that.
it sounds like you're an alchemist. You know, I mean, like I was like, that's true. I mean, I'm totally an alchemist for myself and others. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what do I need to be with right now? You know, right now I might need some more fire energy. And it's like, wow, I'm getting pretty worn out right now and everything. I could use some water and air, you know,
Yeah.
and maybe I need to get more in that mode, a little bit more, right? So it's or a lot more even. So I find like for me, of course, it's the scanning and the channeling, and then beyond that, there's more elements, right? Because somebody's well, and then we keep dialing it down, right? Like, okay, but a lot of people can do that and are really good, even if you're in the top 1%, still there's a lot of people that can do it. All right, but how many of them are alchemists? All right, I could still find more of those. And okay, but how many of them are serving, like in the way that I do? I can do business management, I can do copywriting, I can do healing for you, I can do life coaching, I could do, oh my God, the list is long. Couples, I mean, I don't know, like I can do all these things and I can address many different elements and aspects. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, as you keep dialing in and then you go to each sub element, it's like, okay, and then before you know it, you're like, that's kind of unique, right? Some eventually your resistance breaks down. And you're like, wow, that's pretty unique. Maybe I am unique, right? That's how I would see the process, like however you do it, but like that's how I would see it. Like so how does that process unfold? I know you got a course coming up. I don't want, but I'd love for you
Yeah.
to share more about the process. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you just shared all of those things about yourself because it leads me into the another piece of this. And it's a lot of my clients, a lot of newer clients, they'll come to me and they'll say things like, oh, well, I'm too multi-passionate. I do too many different things. And like, how am I supposed to niche down and like talk about one thing? And niching down, I am a big fan of hell no, do not niche down. Because niching yourself down typically brings you further away from your brand. What I would say is be more of yourself. So the fact that you were just talking about embracing your personality and embracing all of these different areas that you do, by saying all of that, you're actually naturally niching yourself into the exact space you're supposed to be to attract the exact types of clients that want all of those things, that want the alchemist perspective and all of these different types of tools and skills that you have. So I always say never niche down. You're going to naturally niche down by getting more of yourself back into your brand. And there's such specific ways that you can talk about your business. Like, I mean, you just did it so well. I almost feel like everybody should either get interviewed or interview themselves and just hear yourself talk the way you describe your business and the words that you use, because those are the items that are going to land you the press features and help you really attract your clients and get your perfect branding. It's like the exact languaging that you used was so cool. And I was like, oh, I get it. I know exactly what Daniel's about. So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like, and again, I've done it plenty, is why I know, and I've seen it for so many people, but it's like, I think we're so busy thinking we have to be something that we're not,
Yeah.
right? Like trying to be more of what we're not really mostly, like, well, I guess I'll help everybody with money and I'll be the money gal or the money guy or whatever.
Right.
And because that's what seems to sell. So let's do it. And then you do it. And it's like, maybe it takes off, maybe it doesn't. But ultimately you're like, yeah, I don't know. This isn't like working for me ultimately though. And you go to another thing. Maybe okay, I don't know. Maybe it should be this. Maybe it should be that. It can be whatever it is. And then people are always worried about, well, people invest in that, right? I don't help people make more money, which you always do in your own way, no matter what you're helping with. But
Right.
right. But it's like, okay,
Good.
it doesn't matter. I mean, your spiritual teacher helping people with awakening. Well, I mean, I can guarantee you there's people that'll pay any amount of money for awakening. Like there's a whole market that'll pay any amount. They'll clear out every account they've got. If you can really help them to deepen their awakening, they would clear out every account they have because that's how much they want it, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing, there's someone that will empty. I'm not suggesting they need to, I'm just saying they would. And let's just say how strong their desire is like, there's lots of people that would empty out all their accounts, do whatever they had to do or whatever they could do that made sense to them to try to work with you, because it's just so exactly what they're looking for. So yeah, I think it's fascinating though how we don't value just simply what we do. I had to come up with an affirmation for myself that I do what I do. When I came up with this affirmation, I'm like, what I do, no one else can do, and all this stuff, this
Oh, that's good.
information I have, and people, the right people, totally value it, and everything. And then within a few weeks, I had a client say to me after a VIP, she's like, no one, she did testimony. She says, no one in the world can do what he does. Something along those lines, those words. And I'm like, there it is. See, I'm letting it in now. We just have to keep it. Like, you're a rock star just as as who you truly are. Yeah, that totally.
Yeah, you're a spiritual rock star.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of, a lot of clients too will ask me things like, oh, well, I want to pitch myself for this like manifestation story, but I'm not a manifestation expert. And I'm like, well, you are though. Like, you are though. If you're teaching people that and you have years of experience, you are. Or same thing as like a meditation expert or whatever. We're so obsessed with certifications, and certifications are important definitely for certain types of fields, but also life practice counts a lot.
Right.
So, a lot of clients have said to me, oh, I'm not a meditation expert. I'm like, okay, well, how long have you been practicing it? They're like, oh, like basically my whole life. I'm like, oh, do you teach it with do you teach it to your clients or to anybody? And they're like, oh yeah, I teach it to everybody. I'm like, okay, well, that means that you are an expert and you can speak on this topic and you can absolutely pitch a publication about it. So a lot of it is about that, but I would love to even just share with your audience why PR is so important, because I could talk about like I could talk about why everyone is a fit for PR and should be all day long. But if you don't know what PR is and how it can help you. So basically what I do is I'm the liaison between a brand and a media outlet. So this could be like a publication, radio, podcasts, TV shows, and I help basically like advocate, pitch you, quote unquote, sell you. I feel like it's sales, but like it's not. To a writer, a producer, a host, to let them know why you should be on the show. And so that's basically what PR is. And what else did I want to say here? It was something about, how it can help your business. Hello. So PR, I feel like, is probably the number one thing that is really just not taken advantage of in the spiritual community. And it can help your business so much. I see a lot of entrepreneurs posting on social media all day long, every single day, to the same amount of audience members. And they're like, why am I not growing my list? Or like, maybe you are growing your list, maybe you're at a stage in your business where you have a lot of recurring customers and you feel fine. However, if you're looking to really reach large audiences, PR is the way to go, because you're borrowing audiences. So for example, if you get onto a podcast, immediately that host has dedicated fan base. Like, I'm sure you have a dedicated fan base that listens to your show every week and they trust you. As a listener myself, I trust you and who you're going to bring on. I know it's going to be somebody really valuable. So right there, whatever guest you bring on, they're going to immediately be trusted as an expert. So that's going to add a lot of credibility and trust. It's going to bring you in front of new audience. Then if you get on a publication, it's the same type of thing. Like, when you get past the gatekeepers, aka the writers and the writing team, and you are asked to be an expert, or they want to write a whole feature on your brand, you are then being seen as an expert. There's a lot of credibility and trust building there, because if you're featured on, let's say, Forbes, for example, I'm a publicist and I still trust Forbes because I know they're going to bring me quality humans when I'm looking, or quality brands, or whatever it is that they're writing about when I read their publication. So you are immediately going to get in front of new audience members. Forbes alone, I think, has like double-digit millions. It's like 25 million individuals that look at the website per month. So that's a lot of people that could potentially look at your feature. So add that times maybe a few features, that lives on the internet for life. I'd say always digital is the way to go. Magazines are fun and they're nostalgic and they're great to have, but they have a shelf life of a month. So for digital, they live on the internet forever. So that also adds as free SEO. And then you can take those logos and you can put them on your marketing and your Instagram. And before you know it, you're building a new area of audience members that you never would have had access to before. So that's just how, one of the ways that PR, one of the million ways PR can help your business.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, because I think my resistance sometimes to PR has been, oh, you're going to get me in Forbes. Sounds like an ego stroke, but what the hell is that going to do for my business? Because my mind will think, oh, it's all like traditional business people. There's couldn't possibly be anybody interested in what I do there. And, so what do you say to people like, because okay, fine. I mean, I probably, I don't know. Most people probably don't think like I do, but maybe they do. I don't know. But but they're wondering like, well, what good is it? So yeah, I can put it on like people do, right? They put it on. I've been in Forbes. I've been, and that's nice. I mean, it does help. I believe it. I recommend it. So, but yeah, when we, how about like the effectiveness? So do you have clients like in this realm that go into Forbes and it's like that actually more than a credibility thing actually moves their business forward? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So I feel like for editorial, I tell my clients it's usually more for credibility, clout, trust, and it's more about what you do with that feature. So it depends. If you are an expert in a longer story, say the story is about like manifesting, how to manifest in the new year, and you're an expert in there, realistically, will it get you a ton of new audience members right away? Probably not. But will that logo help you? So like say, for example, that was a story that was on mindbodygreen. And then you're able to put mindbodygreen on your Instagram and on your website. You know, those sneaky people that have been following you for a long time and they haven't actually bought or converted. Well, now they might convert. So I've heard that a lot from my clients saying like, oh, wow, like right after my feature came out, I posted it on my page and I got 3 people message me and say, oh, I've been following you for a while. Congratulations on your feature. I'd love to see how I can work with you. So that's something that I see a lot for editorial. And then editorial over time will absolutely help because like I mentioned, it's SEO. So it's more of like a long-term strategy for editorial. For podcasts, it is definitely more short-term. So for podcasts, it's way more about building that audience. So I highly recommend for all of my clients, I do 50-50. I do podcast pitching and editorial pitching. A lot of PR firms do traditional PR, which is just editorial. I don't know why. They should really move into new way of doing things. But yeah, so I always go 50-50 with that. So my clients can see a lot of the growth that they really want, and then also achieve those logos, which is something that's really going to help their business in that sense. And also too, if you're going to be on seminars or leading a workshop, if somebody starts and opens up with, hi, I'm a Forbes featured spiritual mentor, or just using Forbes as an example, people are going to listen to you right away, as opposed to maybe just popping on the workshop. Okay, this is nice, and listening. So it's really good for those attention grabbers and things like that, where we're just building basically your street cred to help people pay attention to what they really need. So that's kind of what I think, I've seen help my clients. And then over time, it absolutely helps you. Like I've had clients now, I've had one particular client that I've been working with since I started my business. And she told me recently, she's like, Lydia, I basically don't even have to really sell. I mean, she does all the things, she posts every day and stuff, but she said most of her clients come from podcast interviews, collaborations from our work together. Also, what I've seen is a lot of, I'll tell some of my clients at the beginning, some of them, depending on what they do. So for example, if a human design client, let's just say that, for example, human design in our world is big. In everyone else's world, it is not big. Even like breath work, like if like if I asked my brother what breath work is, he'd be like, breathing. What are you talking
Just breathe.
about? Like,
What are you talking about? Right.
right. Like you would have no idea. So sometimes for those types of specific work, I recommend offering like free sessions. And you can make them small. You can do like 30-minute session or something to maybe a writer. Writers in general, from what I've seen, this is like general, but a lot of them are younger, especially for the trendier magazines. Maybe they're just going through their spiritual awakening. Maybe they never will. Maybe they are learning about it and they just know like the law of attraction, fluffy stuff, very surface level stuff. So when you bring them something where it's like human design, for example, they may not have ever heard about it. So you can offer them a 30-minute session. You can allow them to feel into that transformation, see what it is firsthand. Now you have a raving fan. You have somebody that wants to refer you to all their friends. You have potentially a new client. I've seen so much. My clients end up getting like these big writers for magazines or big hosts from podcasts. They're now their clients because they just loved the conversation that they had with them or the mini session that they offered. So it really just also, it's all about connection building. Like recently a client of mine was on a big podcast, which was really fun, like a really big podcast. And then they asked her if she could speak and do a workshop for their collective. And so then she did that. And then she got a bunch of clients from that. And then she got another opportunity. So it's about building relationships and being in a totally different area of maybe a high profile network that you never would have had access to before.
Right. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that was really good. That was really good. Fleshing all that out. So all the opportunities that can come from it, because it's like, well, do we need publicists anymore? I think that idea exists out there a little bit. Like, and you do talk about doing it on your own, like the publicity part, but even publicity, like, I don't know. Well, geez, you can blow yourself up on Instagram or, just keep pushing that and, you'll get there and just build it up. And, I'm my own publicist, do my own thing and, independent streak or whatever. These some stubborn types like that, like, and that's fine. I mean, I think it's fine if people don't want to do it, but then again, there are one of the things I'm sure you agree with is, not only does it bring new clients and all these different ways that you mentioned and list building or whatever, but it also opens you in ways where new opportunities become available that might not have been available before. Could you talk about that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, so I just want to touch on an energetic perspective too.
Yeah.
So energetic wise, when we decide, make the decision that we're going to be more visible, right then I've noticed, especially with a lot of clients that are getting more confident, maybe they had one interview and then they have another interview. Like, for example, one of my clients, we started working together a little over a year ago, and she was like, I don't know about PR, but like, I kind of want to try it. I'm looking to like get in front of new audiences. Like, we'll see. I'm like, okay. So we started working together and she got one interview, then she got two, then she got asked to be on a small blog. And then as her confidence was building, I feel like on an energetic perspective, we were opening even more opportunities up. Like, obviously I'm skilled and I know what I'm doing, but on an energetic perspective too, we both were just getting so excited about the campaign and it was just building so much momentum. And on a 3D perspective, it was building momentum because I'm able to reach out to publications or podcasts and be like, oh, she's been featured here and here. Do you also want to talk to her? But on an energetic level, we were just getting so hyped about it. And then we got an opportunity for her to be interviewed on Oprah Print. Oprah only prints 4 times a year now. It's quarterly. So it's very competitive. And she was one of the 3 experts interviewed on this huge spread about breath work. And it was amazing. So it's really cool to see that type of stuff. This was like on her bucket list. She's somebody who's like, how's my little business? Like, no business in being an Oprah, now an Oprah, like that's amazing. So that's really cool. And I see that. And then there was something else I wanted to mention too, but I just got lost in this story.
I would think it would open you up too in credibility. For example, like for speaking opportunities, like,
Yes.
right? Because now you don't sound like everybody. I've even had, I know it's not exactly the same as like when you become a bestseller, New York Times or whatever, everybody says, you guys, once you hit that one, then you're really for real. And but like whatever, all those different things. But this is like that, similar. It's a similar kind of cred. Because I know, like some of the top, leaders have been my mentor. Their mentors are like, well, the people I hang around with, they're New York Times bestsellers, and da, 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 da. In other words, like when I've tried to get into their groups or their circles, they're like, well, you haven't done that yet. So come back to us. Like you're not there yet. Once you get there, they come back, maybe, we'll see. But it's like a club. It's like once you're in that club, oh, you've been there. Okay, yeah, come on in. It's a real thing. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a little bit of a club in terms of like there's definitely groups, I would say, in different communities. So there's like this spiritual community group that you see on all the podcasts, and they're the same people rotating and rotating, same people in editorial, and same thing that goes for a lot of these other areas. And what I can say is, number one, they had a really good publicist. They started early, but anyway, it's everyone kind of has a different way of measuring success. And I always say, like, just stick to what's true to you. So if some people will come to me and they'll say like, hey, I just want to get on podcasts and that's what I'm interested in, and I just want to build my audience, whereas somebody else might see the measure of success is I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller and blah, 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 and I'm going to hit all the things. So I think it really just comes down to what you decide success is for you, and that person you spoke to them, it's getting on all the top publications for whatever reason. But it's definitely tangible. It's tangible, and it's interesting too, because being on top publications doesn't necessarily mean that you're better than anybody else. It just means that somebody reached out for you, or you reached out and you were available for a story angle. So I don't know if I'm like mentioning this correctly, but
but my point is that, yeah, it may not literally make you better, but it opens up doors that may not be open up.
I see.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, who is this person? I don't know. And they look at your web, like when I look for guests, there's all kinds.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. I'm looking for guests. I go to the website. I'm like, okay, why should I have them on? Like I have my intuition, but I usually do analysis first with most of them. So I look around, and if I see something like Oprah or whatever, I'm like, well, okay, let's pay more attention. Like literally, it's conscious. Even if I didn't want to pay more attention, like, well, that doesn't matter. Right? But like, it's immediately you're more receptive. You're like, oh my God, they've been on Oprah. They've been doing this. Like there's someone who had been like I've listened to Ancient Aliens many times, and like I got something for their publicist or whatever reach out, and I'm like, oh, that guy from Ancient Aliens, man, I forget all the usual processes. I just have him on, he's so cool and everything. Like because he had got, he's at that level. Like, I don't know, the guy might be broke for all I know. He may not be doing anything other than these shows. I don't know. I mean, he may not have great success or be the best expert. I don't know. It probably is. But my point is like, just even based on those things, it elevates in people's minds, and they're more likely to not only like say yes when the pitches come, but they're also more likely to, when they run across you, to want to say yes to you, right? Like, or when they're looking out there, they're like, well, where are all the rock stars? Let's look through Oprah magazine and see who's been in there lately, right? That happens. That happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what I say is, if you want to get to a certain caliber, I guess it's so hard to explain, because it's like, I don't want to come from a place of ego, but like we do live in a 3D world where it's like, that's a real thing. Like what you were just explaining, like even me as a publicist, I know how it all works. And I help one of my clients manage her podcast. And so we'll get pitches, and it's funny to see pitches from other publicists. I'm like, that's how they do it. But, but we'll get pitches from other publicists, and right away they'll start with, this person was on Oprah or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Let me look at their website. So I tap into like all the businesses, and I really do look at every single person, because they might just not be there in their business, but it is very valuable,
Mhm.
and it does help turn heads. So, people, I see businesses that I think are just so awesome. And if they were to just invest in PR, whether it be themselves learning it a little bit or hiring somebody because they don't want to do it themselves, it's just like, do that. More people need to hear about you, and you're so awesome. And it's just a tool at the end of the day. It's just a tool.
Yes, 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 yes. So a couple of one or two more things here. As one, so we're calling it conscious PR, right? So what makes how, in other words, what when people do hire you in that case,
Mhm.
um, whether they're at the, just trying to get more business and get more credibility and all that stuff, or they're like, well, I am pretty credible already, but I want to have somebody make it easier for me to keep going, expanding further, etc. Those two different audiences we sort of talked about. But what's different about your process and how you're working with people in conscious PR that's different than maybe how other publicists work?
Yeah. So I will start out with saying, remember when I was talking about all my clients reflecting back to me the same thing over and over again? And I was like, okay, whatever, whatever. So one of the things that I'm owning is that I have an ability to tap into businesses. So, and I didn't realize I was doing this. I thought everyone could do it. So
Right.
when I talk to clients, especially when I'm first having like an introductory call or a kickoff call, feel like I can feel into their business and kind of see where their success is going to be and through the lens of media. So I'll just get really excited. I'll ask a lot of questions and I kind of intuitively guide that. And then I'll be like, oh, you need to be on here and on here. And usually those publications, and I don't want to like shoot myself in the foot here, but a lot of them do come to fruition. I didn't realize I was kind of doing a little bit of a psychic thing. So
Hmm.
that is something that I do a little bit differently. And then in terms of conscious PR, I feel like it's always kind of evolving. I came up with that. But it kind of means two pieces to me. So one of them is just conscious practices. I've been in multiple agencies. I've been in the business for quite a long time now, almost a decade. And the practices are not always the cleanest when it comes to
Hmm.
PR. Sometimes there's a little bit of lying to the clients, or sometimes there's a little bit of schmoozing and a little bit of bribing to get clients on
Yeah.
certain things, and all that stuff like never resonated with me, and it felt sticky, and I wouldn't do it. And so that's something that is like a hell no for me. It's real conscious connections with writers, publicists, other publicists, podcast hosts, and I've made a bunch of friends in the industry, and it's just been a totally different experience working for myself, which has been really cool to see. I've had like hosts come to me and be like, hey, like, do you want to just have a quick chat? I think like we would get along really well. Or writers, like that has literally never happened. Usually publicists are like, please, please to writers, right?
Hmm.
And now I've seen things kind of reverse where it's like a real friendship, and it's just been really fun. So that's something that I really stand by, are those conscious practices.
Hmm.
And then conscious clients. I love to attract conscious clients that are making a difference, doing big things, and really helping change the way that we live for the better.
Yeah, yeah, that's so awesome. So I know that that we could talk forever. I always say that. That's usually true for most of my guests, like, yeah, we could go do a lot more. But yeah, I know, well, I'll say one thing about everything that you just were sharing is that when I had the first meeting with you, I was just like, just not just by what you told me, but like it's the vibe I got. I was like, oh, when people work with Lydia, it's just like magic. It's just everything's has a sense of, yeah, maybe there's fears that come up, but like there's a sense of effortlessness and confidence that builds up and connection uh in the sphere, and things just it's like popcorn, maybe it doesn't pop instantly like crazy, but like it doesn't take long, it's a pop 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 pop. That's the kind of vibe I got from you, and that it's easy. often when I've thought about publicists, I feel like someone who's got like piles of papers that were like, all right, we got to do this publicity, let's go. And yeah, now these opportunities are coming up. I need 10 articles by tomorrow from you, and then you need to get on a plane and go over here and go. Everybody's like, oh my God, everybody's empathic in my audience for the most part. They're like, I can't do with this publicity, and I'm going to be so visible, and then I got to do so much. But with you, it's like it's an easy breezy kind of vibe. It's like, no, it's easy. We just do a little this, a little that, and we take that, and we repurpose this other thing, and it's just and that vibe. And I've never felt that with I'm sure somebody exists out there that's like that, but you're the only person I got. And then with the gifts you have, I just think it's amazing that you're able to integrate all that together. So that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
I know you have, for people that want to connect with you and learn more, I know you have a free gift, but tell us about the free gift, and then how can people connect with you if they want to?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Lydia Marie Bag, but if you type in Lydia Bagarozza, I will come up. My name is very unique. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on TikTok these days, getting it with the times. And if you want, you can get my free gift, which will be in the show notes. It's a PR checklist. So if you're thinking about PR, this is a checklist of all the items you need in order to start reaching out to the media. So it's great to have this stuff on hand for a publicist or for yourself if you're looking to do it. Things just like, what am I going to call myself? What's my bio? Do I have headshots? So it's just a really easy checklist for you. So you can feel free to hop into there, and then you'll be in my email list. And I do have that new program coming out called Find Your Irresistible, open for enrollment. We start January 9th. So if that is of interest to anyone, I don't even know if this is coming out then, but we're going to be doing it again. So, so no pressure if it's a little bit after January, but this I think is going to be a flagship program because it's just so needed, coming back to ourselves and our brand. So that's where you can find me.
Nice, awesome. All right, yeah. So I'd love to double down on helping people see how amazing you are, in part through this for our next segment for the energy scanning, the tuning in. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and and whatever comes through that could maybe be helpful or supportive and deepening awareness for you. And then I always say, for everybody listening, whenever I do any energy scanning for one, others are listening, and I'll be like, I needed to hear that today too, right? So are you ready, Lydia?
I am ready.
Okay. Okay, so I'll see if I usually do about 3 different messages. So let's see what comes through. Yeah, so getting back to what you were saying before, like I am really getting that you have a part of you that really does, like you're into like, oh, that's fuck this ego stuff or whatever, like screw that. Everybody's awesome and amazing, and you should be promoted just as much as anybody else. And that's what makes you so awesome, like with this work. One of the things that I think would really help you to add on top of that now, though, is embracing what your mind would conceive as ego, and being like you actually, part of you really loves the glam energy. Like, look at me, the earrings and everything, like beyond what you do now, like just like, yeah, look at me, I'm totally a star publicist, like you're a cosmic star publicist, right? And like that would be awesome to call yourself that. And because you would really be showing up really visible as that, and that you are a star. And then people would really get who you are. So I would recommend that, like calling yourself that if you're so bold. But so yeah, that would be awesome. It's not too bold when the people who are hiring you are looking for that, right? So yeah, that would be so cool. And then just being willing to be more into what financial wealth can do in the areas of being able to get those higher end things you would love. Like, oh, it'd be so great to buy these things or those things. And to embrace that more, to just be more. I know you want to do more with your money, like, the usual things people want to do. I mean, in terms of like, I even get you have some specific areas you want to put that money in terms of, philanthropy and all that. So that's great, but it just get like, yeah, just like, yeah, we can have it. Because then you're going to give that to your clients. You'll be like, yeah, you can have that. You want your, whatever it is you want. You want that mansion, you want, yeah, you're going to have that. We're going to build you up, we're going to be a star. And, but you're being that, like you're representing that more in your brand. So, okay, so that's one. Let's see what else comes through. Yeah, there's something around going deeper, I'm hearing. So I'm seeing the energy wanting to go deeper and deeper into that energetic core. And I typically, when I say core for me, I'm talking about solar plexus, the three lower chakras mostly. So even yeah. Anyway, so down in that deeper core there, where we meet the earth, and so there's a deepening of the spiritual energy, connecting with the sense of fulfillment and empowerment, but also a deepening of going within. Is more so probably what I'm really trying to get to. But there's a deepening of going within, really embodying more of the spiritual gifts and energy that you have to bring to everything, and that connects to everything I just said before too, the glam and all this stuff. Realizing there's not pairs of opposites, and that it all supports. It's all supporting the highest. So, okay, so let's see what else is next. So they really just want to highlight your gift of clairvoyance. So I just hear like clairvoyant beyond belief or something like that. So like, yeah, it's like I don't know how to say this. It's like you're a GPS system, like you're in a busy city, you've got all the maps laid out, so you're like one of those genius people, like, how do you get to this place? Like, let's say we didn't have phones. You're like, oh, I know how to get there. And it's like all these turns, like 100 turns. And you're like, yeah, now turn left here. And it's not necessarily that you've done the route, but it's that you have it in you. You just know. You're like, you got clairvoyance. It's just like a GPS that's beyond belief in direction and guidance of what's next, what turns to make, like so many things, pacing, timing, everything. And the more you can even more appreciate that gift that you have, the more you'll use it even more. Like you'll use it even more in your work. So you'll trust it more. You'll use it more. So anyway, all right. So those are some of the downloads I'm getting, Lydia. So any quick thoughts and reflections on any of that? Yeah.
Wow. That was really good. Thank you so much. The second or first thing that you said about wanting to buy those things, like this was an actual thought this morning. So thank you.
Oh, right. Awesome.
Yeah. On my drive this morning, I was like, I know it's all connected, but like, is that ego? Should I be spending money on things? So thank you for reflecting that back to me, because it's definitely something that I've been thinking about, just like allowing myself to have what I want. And the GPS, I love the way that you explain that, because that's what I was talking about when I like talk to my clients, and I can tap in, I can see the pieces to get to where they want to go. And I just never really had the words. So
there we go. All right. Just cut out that snippet from the podcast. Just all right.
Thank you.
Put it on transcript or whatever. I know, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna see my whole brand change and be like, thank you, Daniel. But thank you so much. Really, that was so beautiful and enlightening. And I really appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. I'm so grateful to share. And people want to learn more about me. Do you want to know what your next level shine on your brand is, or what's next for you? Go to yoursacredpurpose.com for those that are ready to rock. There is the opportunity to get a Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan with me, where we will see you deeply. We will know, who you are and all that stuff. And so I'm more, I'm not into PR. I would refer you right back to Lydia, but I am going to see the panoramic view of you, and so we're going to start dialing in your life, your business. I mean, so whatever the elements you need the most right now, we're going to dial it in. So go to yoursacredpurpose.com for those ready to rock. And if you're just ready to receive more, then get my Meditate, Make Money meditation. That's for free on my website. People really love it. So I always talk about it on the show. Opens up your energy, your chakras, allows you to start getting downloads. And quite frankly, a lot of people fall asleep during some of my meditations. I think that probably happens on mine too. But on this one too, is what I'm trying to say. And honestly, it somehow still works. Like people are like, I don't know, I got some downloads afterwards or whatever.
Let me tell you, I downloaded it and I listened to it 3 nights in a row because I kept falling asleep to it.
Right, I told you. I know my audience. A lot of people
So good though.
so in a like, I don't know if it's a zone or what, they get so relaxed or whatever it is, and it's just like off to sleep they go. And I don't mind it. Like when I did, my background too is in hypnosis and hypnotherapy. I was like, you got to watch it, modulate your energy, make sure they don't fall asleep, and give them an auto suggestion. They won't fall asleep in the beginning and everything. And I don't know, I've never felt like that was the way to go for me. Like I felt like if they actually fall asleep, I feel like that was what's meant to happen more. So I'm not trying to fight like their process. So I don't know. So that's my thing. But check it out. You gotta, man, let's find out what all the fuss is about this Meditate, Make Money. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com. All right, Lydia. So as we're wrapping up, I'll let you have the last words. So what last words do you have for the audience today?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed the conversation. And the last words that I will leave everyone with is if you are sitting there thinking that you are not worthy of receiving a certain level of credibility and exposure and visibility and whatever it is, you absolutely are. And we keep going back to this piece, but go back to your testimonials, see what people say about you. And that's what your secret sauce is.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, and sometimes it's the simplest things. Like I can't even believe, like one of my clients, even though we blew up sales and stuff for her, if you look on my website, you'll find out who it is. But this is basically all she said in the video testimony is, he's just so sweet. He's so sweet. You should hire him. He's so sweet. I'm like, why don't you tell him about all the rest? But that was the thing that was a separator for her. He's so sweet, and what that meant to her. So like, I always say, like, the things you're taking for granted the most that you're giving to people are the most valuable things. And I love that, that's what you're pointing to with that, Lydia. That's awesome. So I'm sorry. Okay, so one last thing. So you do get the last word.
Thank you so much. This has just been awesome. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll just do our wrap up from there. Okay.
Wrap up.
All right. So everybody, I'm grateful for you all tuning in. So thank you so much, Lydia, for what you're doing and the impact you're bringing. I'm so grateful for you being a guest today, and it was awesome. And having a great time. Everybody, as I always say, keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone.
Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.